Good evening everybody, happy Easter, welcome back. First of all, sorry, apologies for the delay. So this video, as in the title, is the follow-up to the last video which I released several months ago about the result, I guess, of our Range Rover and the issues it had with the turbos and how the warranty dealt with it, how much it cost us, basically that whole scenario and how it played out. So as you can see, I'm back in the Range Rover and I couldn't be happier. So let's go through the story. Tuck in, sit tight, because I'll explain it start to finish. So cue some fancy B-roll and let's get back to the video. So for those of you that don't know, I'll recap briefly. About 18 months ago, I bought this Range Rover Sport SDV6. It's a 3 litre, 2016, 2015, 65 plate. It done 70 odd thousand miles at the time. I picked it up for a bargain, what I consider an absolute bargain. It was less than £20,000. And I've been documenting it sort of gently throughout that time period. So do check out the other videos. I'll put the links in the description. And I've been problem free pretty much up until about 12-13 months in, which was expected. And I've always banged on about, if you're going to buy one of these cars, you can't run them on a shoestring, you can't buy them with the expectation that they're going to give you trouble-free motoring, because it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen with most or any cars these days, especially not a JLR product. So I've always been an advocate of warranties. Well, the other month I had to use it. So to recap, here's the scenario. The car started making some funny noises, so it was due in the garage anyway, and at the same time I said, look, while it's in for MOT, get a look at the car if you could, because it's making some noises under load and I feel like I'm losing a bit of power. So they did the diagnostic. Short and long of it is, the oil level sensor had a code for failure, which is great because I can't tell how much oil is in these things, and we know the result of that. And at the same time, it had a code for overboost, and the noise was definitely coming from the turbo. It makes sense because it made a weird sort of noise under load. And knowing a little bit about cars, my suspicion was that it was something to do with the turbo. Anyway, the codes were an overboost code and an oil level sensor. So at that point, what I did was ship it off to a specialist in Bristol that knows these cars like the back of their hand. And the scenario is, I've got a warranty on the car, so I wasn't that worried about it. I need it fixed. Let's get it looked at. So they confirmed the diagnostics, but, and this is where it starts to get tricky already, they phoned me up and said, look, Craig, the problem we got is, one turbo is electronic. That's what you're getting the overboost code from. The actuator's failed, it's stuck open, it's, overcharging the turbo, it's knackered it. You can move the impeller shaft. I found out later. But at the same time, at that point, they said, the thing is, if one's failed, it would make sense that the other one's probably there or thereabouts. And at the same time, we can't tell you if just one's gone or both have gone, because they've got two turbos, these, a primary and a secondary, and they're manifold turbos, which is awesome, because you've no benefit to doing two at the same time unless you need to, because it's a completely separate job to do each side. Anyway, they said we've got to look at both turbos to determine exactly and confirm that it is the turbo we think it is, and confirm or deny whether or not the second turbo is knackered as well. But to do that, it is engine out. You have to take the whole engine out the car. Book time on it from Land Rover is like 6.6 hours to do both turbos. I said that seems strange. They said, well, they laughed and said, look, good luck. Anyone that can do that in 6.6 hours is a magician, because it can't be done. That's not how you do it. It can't be done. So I said, right, let's just tell me what needs to be done. They said, well, we need to remove the engine to inspect both the turbos. I said, look, the car needs to be done. You're going to have to do it, and I'll pick it up with the warranty company later. They said at the same time, the oil level sensor, you need to essentially, it's much easier to do with the engine out, but you still need to split the engine from the gearbox apparently. So that also is quite a big job. So I said, look, give me the breakdown. I need to know exactly what it is. Give me the diagnostics, give me the cost for parts, give me the cost for labor, give me the job. So the breakdown is as follows. Turbos, remove and install is 16 hours for both, because the engine's got to come out. Oil level sensor is 3.5 hours once you have access to it. Fine. The cost for a turbo for the primary new from Land Rover is just over £1,500 plus the VAT, and the secondary is just under £1,500 plus the VAT. The oil level sensor itself is £55 and the associated wire and loom is £50 plus the VAT. All in all, that bill came to nearly £7,000, because while you're there, you have to service the car if you're changing the turbos. There are various gaskets and bolts that you need to purchase, so the job racked up. So I thought, no problem, I'll put it through the warranty. My expectations already with it, they're not going to cover that. They're not going to cover a brand new Land Rover turbo off the shelf at Land Rover, and they're just not when you can get aftermarket ones or remanufactured ones. So I thought, I know what's coming. So I put it through the warranty. I put through the diagnostic was fault codes for overboost on the turbo, oil level sensors failed, and they've also mechanically diagnosed the secondary turbo as the oil seals have failed. So it's no good either. So I put that through, put the two turbos through, put the oil level sensor through, genuine oil level sensor from Land Rover, genuine wire and loom from Land Rover, genuine turbos from Land Rover, and a service kit. They came back and they did not appreciate that, and understandably so, because I'm getting betterment, aren't I? It's a second-hand car, there's no problem with it having remanufactured parts on it, was their argument. They're as good as new, pretty much. I said, well, fine, as long as you can guarantee me longevity. And they said, we definitely can. There'll be a warranty on the turbos, and there'll be a warranty on the labour if it needs to be done again. So I said, fine, okay, what's the damage then? So what they've approved is £623 plus VAT for a remanufactured turbo, and just under £600, that's for the primary, just under £600 plus VAT for the remanufactured secondary turbo. So I said, look, I just want to make sure that I've got longevity with this. Can you put me in touch with wherever you get those parts from? And they said, look, we can, but it's trade to trade. They only serve trade. They do not serve the general public. So I said, fine. So I won't bother naming this company because it's pointless to you. No, in fact, I will. The company's called The Turbo Guy, because if you ever go in a garage and get your turbos done, these guys specialise in rebuilding and remanufacturing turbos. They're called The Turbo Guy. They're based in Scotland, and they're actually fantastic. They're really, really nice, I found. Because I rang them and said, look, I just want to make sure everything's kosher. Not doubting you, but don't know who you are, never used you, what's the deal? And they said, Craig, what we've quoted for is a remanufactured, fully rebuilt pair of Garrett turbos. So they're OE turbos rebuilt. And I said, you know what? Excuse me, that's absolutely fine. So they approved that. They approved the oil level sensor. They did not approve the associated wiring loom. And to be quite honest, I don't know why you've got to replace the wiring loom along with the failed part, but I did it anyway, and it was 50 quid. So they did not approve. They did approve both turbos remanufactured and the oil level sensor, and they approved 6.6 hours for remove and install both turbos plus an hour's diagnostic. So all of a sudden I'm out 10 hours of labour here, some £800. I said, look, how is that justified? Because I'm being told by the garage it's 16 hours is engine removal, and they said, well, I get that, but we're being told by Land Rover it's 6.6. That's what their book time is. So I said, look, I can't argue with that, can I? I guess I can't. You know, you win some, you lose some, I guess. Sometimes the book time's over-exaggerated, sometimes it's horrendously under exaggerated, whatever the word is, which is this case. So I said, you know what, fine, I'll just have to stomach it at the 800 quid or whatever, but I thought I'll tell you what I'll do, because the engine's out, surely it makes sense to I'll get the timing belt done, because it's due next year anyway, and it's the cheapest I'm ever going to get the timing belt done if I'm already got to pay for the engine out. So I phoned the garage back and said, look, they've approved, you know, the rest of it, but while you're there and the engine's out, can you take a look at the timing belt and replace it for me? Quote me on that, because I might as well do it now. And he said, yeah, good shout, you definitely may as well do it now. It's only an extra couple hours labour to actually change the belt over once the engine's out. So I said, fine. And thank God I did, because he sent me this picture. This is the timing belt, and as you can see, it's got basically a gash in it. So his words to me were, you must be the luckiest SOB, because I can't believe that hasn't let go yet. So silver lining, I guess, to this is, had the turbos not failed, and I'd not needed to get the engine out or not needed to check the timing belt for whatever reason, I would quite happily have been motoring down the road until next year, unbeknown that the timing belt was about to let go, and that would have been catastrophic, because no warranty in the world, except I guess if you've got a manufacturer warranty on a brand new car, if it does it within the manufacturer warranty period, no warranty in the world is ever going to pay for cam belt snapping, timing belt snapping. They just won't do it. It's a perishable part. They won't do it. So thank God I did. I had the timing belt done, both belts, front and back, and in the end it cost me about £1,200, which I thought, considering the car's had a service and it's had a timing belt, I'm not going to lose any sleep over, because next year when I get the timing belt done, if this whole situation hadn't occurred, to do a timing belt fresh would have probably cost me best part of £1,000 anyway, plus the service on top, so I'm there or thereabouts. So in my eyes, I don't feel that I've lost out on that at all, and I don't. So that's the lay of the land. That's exactly what's happened. I've got the car back now, and it drives better than ever. Any noises that were apparent before have gone. The power delivery is smooth and linear. It's right on the money. It goes like a train. It's exactly as it should be now. This car drives superbly well. So I'm over the moon. I'm super happy to get the car back. And I guess the one thing I did want to bring up is that in one of my previous videos, we talked about whether or not it's better to buy a Land Rover approved used warranty or a third party one. I've always had good luck with the third party ones, and you know, bang for buck, which one's better, I guess is the question. Well, really difficult to say, because would the Land Rover approved used one had covered genuine Land Rover turbos off the shelf? I guess probably, maybe they'd have to, wouldn't they? And would they have honoured whatever labour time needed to be done to replace them? I guess they'd have to, wouldn't they? But the warranty's considerably more money to buy. You have to engage in a £500 health check before they'll even let you buy a warranty. God knows what comes up in that you're going to have to replace. God knows what stipulations there are. Plus, would the level of cover be the same? As in, would they have covered things like the turbo seals failing, or would they have put that down to wear and tear? Would they have covered the turbo at all? Would they have put that down to wear and tear? I don't know. So I guess I'm happy with the route I went down, and I'm happy with the outcome. I trust this company. They're very good. They do look after you. They don't wriggle. As long as you play the game and keep your car serviced and don't, you know, take the piss, I guess they don't either. So yeah, that's in a nutshell the whole saga over and done with and complete. So we're back in the car now. I shall continue to document my findings with the car. I shall continue to bring up any issues, and I guess we'll just go from there. So yeah, happy I'm back. Sorry it's took so long, but life has gotten in the way. I've had a child, I've moved house, you know, work has been absolutely mental. Yeah, and this YouTube thing's just a bit of fun really, and to share some what might be valuable information, and yeah, I guess just have some fun with it. So again, apologies for the delay, but anyway, I'll leave the video there. So please do smash the like button for me. It really helps the video out. Subscribe if you want to see more. We have got some videos coming. It's Easter weekend this weekend, so I'm going to try and document some more stuff. I've got a couple of videos upcoming, so do subscribe if you want to see more. Leave your comments, they're always welcome, positive or negative, we don't care, just keep it clean, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.